Alright guys, so back to baking. So we have already baked the details for our face area and along with the hands and arms. And so we really do not need to keep the multi-resolution anymore. Now keep in mind that if you know that you're gonna need to go back and maybe adjust the forms of the character, you need to make sure that you have a backup copy of this. I really suggest you have a backup copy of your Blender file there that still has the multi-resolution on there. But yeah, after you make that backup copy, we go to object mode, and if you turn on wireframe, this is basically the low poly version of our mesh when it's straight out from our topologized mesh, right? But what we could do is we could go, before we collapse the multi-resolution modifier here, we could go to level viewport and crank that up to 1. And what we're going to do is we are going to apply it with that level viewport of 1, so we have more polygons to work with. And it's good to have it at a higher value so that any shape that we have changed, like the eyelids or the nose, especially if you have made some changes to the overall silhouette, it's best to have it at a higher value like this, but not too much. You still want to keep it at a good poly count. For a poly count that's supposed to be for AAA games, generally there are about 150,000 tries or more, 150,000 to 300,000 tries for games, for AAA games where the character is basically the main character. So I think for what we have here, we can definitely handle another resolution, a higher resolution. So with level viewport 1, we could just go ahead and apply that modifier. So now this is exactly what we get here for what we're going to put in Unreal Engine, which is very nice because we have much more shape to this. Okay. Now, if you want to see the poly count of your character, you could, the triangle count or the poly count, you can go to the drop down arrow here, and then you're going to see statistics. You could go ahead and turn that on. And right now the triangles is 59 million. That's because we have a lot of multi-resolution here. We have multi-resolution on the shirt. We have multi-resolution on the pants. But if we just go ahead and select our character's face, right, and shift H, so right now if you isolate this mesh, you could see that right now we only have 43,000. Okay, so we have that, which is fine. This is actually pretty good try count for our piece of mesh here. And then later on, when we, let me go show everything, after we bake our shirt and our details for our holster, our shirt, our pants, and everything, and then we're going to collapse the multi-resolution for that. It's not going to be 59 million like you see here. Okay, so don't be alarmed. But right now I'm going to go and turn that off. I'm going to go back and turn off the statistics. All right, next thing that we could bake is going to be our shirt. Okay, so with our shirt selected here, we could go ahead and set the multi-resolution to 0. So remember, it's very important to have our multi-resolution 0 when it's time to bake. And keep in mind that another thing is you need to make sure that the texture of the shirt and the pants, the shoes, and all the holster parts here, our vests here for where we're gonna have, that's on the character shoulder here, they're all gonna be in one texture set. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go and set this to 0 for a shirt, and let's go to our render properties, scroll down, and you're gonna see bake right here. So same process. We could just go ahead and click on X, make sure you have saved your face normal map here. I'm gonna X that and just create a brand new image and go ahead and give it a name. I'm gonna call it MB outfit, and then let's go ahead and set this to 4096 and 4096. All right, so the MB outfit image texture here, we're gonna have our normal map texture for our shirt, normal map texture for our pants, our holster, everything that's related to the outfit, it's all gonna be here. And press OK. Okay, and then we could go ahead to our shader editor, and then let's go ahead and plug in an image texture, and then let's go ahead and find in the MB outfit, And color space, very important to set it to linear. And let's go ahead and type in normal map. Okay, great. And then plug in the color onto the color and normal onto normal. All right, now once everything's set up, we could go to the process of baking. Let's go ahead and click bake and just wait for a bit. All right, great. So there's our normal map for our shirt. And we go ahead and save that out, image, save as, and I'm gonna save it in the same folder, textures folder, and MB, and I'm gonna go ahead and save this as Targa, and make sure you set it to linear, don't forget. MB outfit, that's the name of the texture, save as image, and there you go. So everything's been baked for that shirt, and we could go ahead and check out how it looks like through the render. And I think before that, I'm gonna crank up the normal map strength so we can see it more in the render, 1.7. All right, and gonna go and render that out. Yeah, there you go. Good thing I have wireframe turned on. I'm gonna go and turn off wireframe. All right, so you can see our details. So even though we have the subdivision level as 0, it's technically very low poly, we could still see the details as if it's a high resolution mesh, okay? Okay, great. And I think for this one, you could probably use more polygons for this also. I'm gonna set the level viewport to 1 here. There you go, so we got more details. And let me see how it looks like if I hit apply and turn on wireframe, see how it looks like. Oh yeah, this is actually good. I prefer to have a much higher resolution like that. Okay, and that's good for the shirt. And then let's go ahead and do the pants, selecting the pants here. And let's go ahead and bake the normal map for the pants. And if you select your pants, I'm gonna go and turn off my wireframe. If you select your pants and look at the shader editor, you're gonna see that we have the same material that we have added for our shirt. It's also the same material for the pants, okay? And then there's already an image texture there called MB outfit. There's a normal map. So that same image texture that we have used for our shirt here, it's also going to be the same texture map for the pants, okay? So with the pants selected, so just keep that in mind. Let's go to our modifier and let's set this here to 0. This seems to always kind of freeze up a little bit when I try to select. So I'm going to set this to 0. Okay, and I'm going to go bake this. And this is very important. Before you click bake, you see where it says clear image. So what we want is when this is going to bake, right, this details, we don't want the details of the shirt to go away. We don't want it to be cleared. So you see where it says clear image. Make sure you turn that off. Turn off clear image. That way when we bake the pants, it's not going to clear out any details that we already have on our MB outfit texture image. So with the clear image turned off and our pants selected, let's go ahead and click bake and just wait for a bit. And there you go. You could see that the pants normal map has been added. The pants normal map has been added along with the shirt normal map just by simply turning off the clear image. And let's go ahead and save that. It may take us some time to just save it, but it's cool. It has to be done. Okay, so we have that for our pants. And I think for our pants here also, I think I could use a higher resolution. So I'm going to set the level viewport to 1. And I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And if I hit the tab key, this is basically the resolution mesh. So if I click here on my shirt, click on the body mesh there, Shift H. And if I go set to turn on statistics, so right now we have 96,000 triangles for our face, arms, hands, t-shirt, and also the pants area. Okay, so now let's go to our holster, we're going to have to bake out the details for this one. And once again, if you select your holster, you're going to see that it also has the same material as the shirt and the pants. Okay, and if you guessed it right, yes, that normal map is also going to be included along with the shirt and the pants normal map. All right, so with our holster selected, go to the multi-resolution. So we got different parts for our holster here. We're going to do them one by one. Okay, so select this one here and multi-resolution, and let's go and set this to 0. And let's go here and turn off clear image and just hit bake. There you go. All right, so you can see it's been added there. And for this one, I'm going to go and set the level of viewport to 1. And I'm going to go and hit apply. All right, cool. And then for this one, also same process. I'm going to go set this to 0. Go ahead and bake. And there it is. Back to multi-resolution. Set the level of viewport to 1 and hit apply. Very important, make sure that you save a copy of this where you're able to go back to the sculpt. So instead, in case something happens, you know. And same for this. Basically, we're only going to go to the parts of the holster that has the multi-resolution modifier, okay? So this one has a multi-resolution modifier. I'm going to go and set 0 and just start baking this. Go. Yeah, and you could go ahead and set the level of viewport to 1 and hit apply. Let me see how this looks. I'm going to go ahead and do a little render test. Okay, have a little issue here. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me see here. So we have a little issue here with, see how it's just black, right? We're gonna have to fix this, so I'll show you how to fix that. But before we do that, let's go to image and just go ahead and save this for now. All right, it's saving. Yeah, actually, the reason why when we first rendered it black, when we rendered it was black because we didn't get to save this. So remember, in order for the maps to show when you render, you have to save it first. Otherwise, it's just going to appear black or some other color when you render, okay? So now when we render this, again, you should see that it's no longer black, you see, after we have saved our map here. Okay, so let's go to this one. This one needs to be baked. So I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to go set the multi-resolution to 0 over here, and hit bake. There you go. And then I'm going to go set the level of viewport to 1, and then hit apply. And then what else do we have to do? Yeah, the straps here. Okay, and back onto the modifier, set the level of viewport to 1 and hit apply. So just same process, guys, going through the process of baking. And then yeah, really a lot of these are kind of repetitive, but if you sometimes for repetition and watching it over and over again, you know, it gets into your memory. You remember more of what you're doing. So when you are doing your own character, it's going to be easier for you to remember, and you won't have to go back to the video if you just watch the entire thing, right? Okay, and yeah, make sure you save it if you want to see how it looks like when it renders. Okay, and go ahead and render that out. So yeah, you can see it's there. Now keep in mind that for the buckle area, right, if we go to our modifier section, you can see that there's no modifier because you don't really need to add anything here. All the details that we're going to add for the buckle, they're all going to be done in Substance Painter. Okay. And yeah. And I think another thing that we could do is, I'm looking over here. If you want, you could add like a cylinder in there. All right. If you know you're going to show this a little bit more up close, add a cylinder on there, and you could still kind of pack it wherever you have some space on there. But I think I'm not going to show it up close like that. So maybe the closest that I would render is maybe half a body like that. Maybe I could make some beauty shots like this for my portfolio. And I don't think that's going to show. It's going to be covered with shadow. Okay, so this one here, yeah, the buckle doesn't need to be baked. We don't have a multi-resolution for that. And so yeah, just checking all around. This one also here, we don't need to bake. We don't have a multi-resolution. This one is fine. We don't need to bake that one either. So that's basically it. Just our shirt, our pants, our holster area, and our character mesh here that needed to be baked for the details. And really the rest of our character, we could add the details that we need just using strictly Substance Painter. And if you look at our triangles here, this is actually a pretty good poly count. As I mentioned before, the main character for the video games that you play today in 2024, or if you're watching this 2025, they're going to be around 150,000 triangles to 300,000. And there's actually some games that's over 300,000 tries for just for a single character. And yeah, the game engines are getting more and more powerful. So you could add a lot of triangles in there for a main character. All right, so that is it for our baking section for our character. Wait, yeah. Now, if the carankle area here, we're going to be adding the details. I think we don't need to sculpt it here. We could just add the details in Substance Painter. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Let's not forget the tear duct top. See the tear duct at the top? It's not showing because we made changes to the eyelids. If you didn't make changes to the eyelids, maybe you don't have to do what I'm doing, but I have done so. I have made changes. So I'm going to go to my sculpt mode and just fix this. I'm going to turn on symmetry. Yeah, turn on symmetry. Okay, and then I'm going to go and kind of move it down. Here you go. Pull it up. Put up like that. Push it back in. And pull it down. Could even go to my inflate brush and just kind of inflate this slightly. And I'm going to go to my grab brush and pull that up. Push this in. Alright, so just putting it how it was before. Alright, so we're going to add like a clear material on there, like a transparent material later on in Unreal Engine. And one last thing, you can see here that there's some mesh that is like kind of sinking in there. So I could already adjust that. I go to my sculpt mode, grab brush, and yeah, just pull that out. Go and pull it back in so it's a little flat like that. There you go. And just let me see how it looks like if I render this out. Alright, everything's good there. And we could also turn on our texture if you want to see your map. I could go to my sculpt mode. I don't like how there's a little bit of zigzaggy going on here. I'm going to go to my grab brush and kind of move this. That. Gonna move it like this. There you go. Alright, let's go ahead and render and check this out. I'm going to go to object mode. Alright. right, much better. Everything's straight. And let me go take a look. Ooh, I'm liking those pants. You can see the buckle is basically black, and also the shoes. But it's okay when we add our details and our normal map for when we start doing our Substance Painter. Substance Painter is going to be creating the maps that we need for our normal map in that software. Okay. Whew, that's looking good. I'm really, really loving the details, the folds that I have done there. I hope you're proud of yours too. And if you're not, don't worry. If this is your second or third time doing a character, it takes lots of characters, doing 5-10 characters to get to a level that you might like what you're doing. I'm going to go back from texture to material. There you go.